Slash A do Buckaroos, how the heck are you? So we did an early Saturday video or early evening. Now we'll do an evening. I'll probably do a late night as well, but let's start here. Let me check this real quick, make sure everything's going. Just that. Yep, that's right where I need it to be. There we go. Good enough. Anyways, hey, dude, how the heck are you? I am Tom the Beer and Whiskey Whisperer, at least for the purposes of this video. Just said just slightly this way. Oops, jumped off on me. There we go. Anyway, so here's what I got here. I've got one from Banter Brewing. Is their double cold IPA? It's getting near the end, which is why I grabbed it for this particular video. Oh gosh, it's a delicious beer. What the difficult thing about this beer? Well, not difficult, but the interesting thing about it is the ABV. It's a big one. It's a big one, baby. Yeah. It's 9.3%, man. It ain't playing, but boy, the flavors, the aromas on this are just so insane. Now, I'm not saying it tastes like a 5% beer, don't get me wrong. But what I am saying is that you cannot detect that it's 9.3 because it doesn't feel hot or boozy in any particular way. It is just amazing, man. A little bit. That's good. We'll work on my camera placement. There we go. Anyway, I can't get it quite where I want it for some reason. There we go. Let's work with that. Uh, oh, mercy. Man, that is insanely good. So I've also been playing around with the cocktail, right? I've just had this. The Manhattan is my cocktail of choice, but the Manhattan really does seem best suited for fall and winter. Oops. But the alternative, you're hitting the wrong button there. The alternative to an old to a Manhattan, it seems to be the old fashioned. And not that I hate an old fashioned. Don't get me wrong. Is that for me they're just very sweet. Even I can't order one out because they're always too sweet for me. A lot of folks like those sweet drinks. I get it. It's just not for me. But I like the idea of an old fashioned. So when I make them at home, I make them a little lighter on the sugar than out. But well, here's that. However, I don't always even want that much sugar. So I've been playing around with the idea of a summer Manhattan. So I've done some earlier using a rye, the Blanc vermouth, and lemon bitters. But this one I'm doing, decided to do a different one using a bourbon, a 90 proof bourbon, the Blanc vermouth, and grapefruit bitters with a grapefruit garnish, taking it just a little bit, but staying summer, but taking a slightly different direction. Now I haven't even tasted. I have no idea what I've come up with, but that's what I'm going to try here next. Oh, look at the color of this beer, though. I love the clarity of the color. That cold, it is just insane, man. It's a big bad, you know, shut your mouth. We're talking about Shaft. Anyway, it's I digress. Man, that's just beautiful. I'm gonna set that down for a second. I'm gonna jump off camera and I'm gonna grab that cocktail. Be right back. Okay, again, this one is the Wise Man Bourbon. Trying to spill it here. So I got that. I didn't think I had this as full as I did, but so again, the reason I do have dry vermouth on hand, and I may try one with the dry. I haven't yet, but the reason I was going with the blanc and not the dry was I didn't necessarily, I used the blanc to brighten it up and add just a touch of sweetness. Right, I was taking the sweet vermouth out, but I still wanted that little touch of sweetness, which is why I decided to go with the blanc. I may have to try one with a dry vermouth just to see, but I honestly don't think that's the direction I want to go with this particular cocktail. So the Wise Man, this is a bourbon I got for my birthday. It is from Kentucky Owl, the artisanal traditions and heritage of Charles M. Dedman and the Kentucky Owl brand have been preserved to ensure that the outstanding quality and spirit of the brand continue with the test of time. That doesn't tell me much about this particular bourbon, does it? Uh, Anyways, guided by the wisdom and crafted with knowledge of wise men, American Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey from Kentucky Owl at 90 proof. Let me show that to you. It's a nice bourbon. One of several I got for my birthday. Man, I had quite a birthday haul. I've only had a few birthdays. Big birthday party is in my life. My wife threw me a big one. I believe it was on my 32nd. It was nice. I knew a lot of folks at the American Legion here in town at the time, post 639. So we had a nice party there, and she invited my friends from work and then the friends from there, and that was really nice. But I kind of quit going there because all my friends passed away, and American legions are notorious for internal politics, right? So I just chose not to be a part of that anymore. But it was nice for the time, right? I mean, I met a lot of good people there that were friends for a while. Lee Walton, Clark Pike. I mean, gosh, these guys were just amazing. But my wife put on a party for me this year at Banter Brewing, and so many people showed up. I mean, I was so overwhelmed. I mean, on my way out there, she was driving me out there. I said, I'm going to be there with like 10 people. And there were so many people that just showed up just to say happy birthday. I was overwhelmed. I mean, I was honestly brought to tears. It was amazing. And I got this whiskey and several other. But this particular one was actually opened up the night of the party, which is why it's as low as it is. I always share it with several other folks there. I was trying to pace myself initially, but that kind of got away after a little bit. Anyways, so anyway, getting back to this particular cocktail, that was one of the reasons I wanted to use this whiskey. It's my other two versions of the summer Manhattan or the summer of the city, as I like to call it. I've used a rye, but I wanted to kind of change it up and use the bourbon being a little sweeter because I was going with the grapefruit, right? The grapefruit garnish and the grapefruit bitters. It was going to be a little more tart. And again, using that Dolan Blanc. The truth is, I don't know which one I like better. I really like this a lot. That grapefruit again. I used the lemon bitters and a lemon garnish, and the other. Here I'm using the grapefruit. But I think either way, you got to have that little bit of tartness and that summer fruit. That's so whether you go lemon or grapefruit, I don't know that it matters. But man, I thought I was sure which direction I wanted to go until I tasted this one. I thought, oh, that ain't bad neither. That's pretty good, man. Kind of like the way the grapefruit is going there, to be honest with you. Oh, I may have to try one with the dry vermouth just to see. I am relatively certain that I want the blonde because I need that brightness and I need that little bit of sweetness. I'm not sure that the dry is going to get me where I want to go. But I figure I probably better try it once just to rule it out, right? But I really feel like the Blanc is what's needed for this particular cocktail to really bring out the brightness of the grapefruit or lemon, whichever direction you're going. Oh, mercy. Gosh, that's nice. So the Wise Men bourbon. This is a little sweeter than the ryes that I've used for the uh, previous two attempts at the Summer Manhattan or the Summer of the City, as I like to call it. But with the grapefruit, it balances it nicely. So now typically I want to go with a rye for a Manhattan or at least a high rye bourbon. But boy, I like the way this one works. Though. It imparts just the right amount of sweetness to balance the tartness of the grapefruit. It really does. It works nicely. Damn, ain't bad at all. You never know till you try. Anyways, I digress. Let me finish this up so I can get back to that beer again. I should put half a grapefruit in there for the garnish. Because that grapefruit is taking up a lot of room, man. That's difficult. It was off to one side for a second there, but then anyways. Anyways, I digress. But I do like the way that grapefruit works, and I gotta say, I didn't think I would, but I really do. But I will have to make at least one attempt using the dry, just so I can say, okay, I was right. That does work. Not that it won't work per se, but again, the reason for using the blanc is that it brightens up the cocktail. It also adds just a hint of sweetness. Taking out the sweet vermouth, you still want a little bit of sweetness in there. Anyways, back to this. Look how beautiful that color is, though, man. This is just a clean, dry double IPL. Yeah, a cold IPA. I can't say it's been a hit and a miss because it's been about 80-20, right? People either really love it or not, but it's been about 80%. Oh my God, this is amazing to 20%. It doesn't work for me. but but for those that it works for, man, this beer is just so amazing. And a lot of that's because it doesn't come at you like the typical double IPA, right? Especially the double IPAs of today. And maybe that's one of the reasons I like it because the double IPAs of yesteryear, yeah, of way back a decade and a half ago, yeah, I mean they weren't as sweet as double IPAs are of today, right? Because you got big hazy doubles, but they're still rather sweet. And although this doesn't have that same malt, that big malt backbone as the double IPAs of the late '90s, early 2000s, it still has that big flavor, right? Without that sweetness that those of us of a certain age, I don't know. I guess I can't really say that because there are some folks my age that really like those sweet doubles. I just don't. I just miss the double IPAs of way back. I mean, Four Hands original Warhammer was insanely good. Mothers here in town, their original Troublemaker was crazy, man. But again, there was a lot of malt. I mean, they were just big. They weren't trying to, excuse me, they weren't trying to gently seduce you. Oh no, they were giving you the roofie. I mean, they were right big. And most double IPAs up there, especially hazy doubles, they're like to ease into it, and I just don't like that sweetness. That's why I love a beer like this that's just crazy good and not and just not apologetic. I mean, it's just a 9.3%. I mean, it's just right there, man. And like I would say, it's kind of a hit and a miss, but it's mostly a hit. You either get it or you don't. But the greater percentage did get it, especially the older folks of a certain age. Love this one. Oh my God, that's crazy. Younger drinkers didn't get it because it wasn't that sweet IPA they're looking for. But those of us of a certain age remember when IPAs were not only not sweet, but they did not taste like fruit of any kind. You might get a hint of grapefruit in there due to the hops, but that wasn't the point of the IPA, right? Oh no. The point of that IPA was to just wreck your palate for good, so it is no good to you the rest of the evening. Anyways, I digress. I digress, man. God, that's good beer. Anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. I am John the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom. Oh my God, the beer is so good. Anyways, I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good